We're going to start our service by standing up. Then we're going to dance, or we're going to sing, or we're going to clap, or we're going to, I don't know, observe, sway. If you would like to dance in your seats, that's okay too. It takes a little bit more buttocks control to do it that way, but it all works. You know this song, it's called One Big Family. And we'll get some lyrics up here. Help y'all out with that. Let's sing. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are loved, we are one. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let's sing that again. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, Say, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. So we are loved, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Joyful sound. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Sing it. Everybody get up on your feet. And see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Make a joyful sound. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Can we say that again? With feeling, yeah, with feeling. Thank you. Good morning to Zoom and to everyone here in the sanctuary. My name is Morgana, and I'm your host this morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson and to all those joining us online. We are so happy that you chose to be with us today. If you're here for the first time, we have a gift for you at the greeter's desk just outside the sanctuary. Let Reverend Rhoni know. And actually, if our practitioners are here, and we'll stand so you'll know who to look for. Welcome, thank you. Okay, every Sunday we start with a 20-minute meditation in the annex in room 2 at 10:30 before service. We have a couple of short announcements. Of course, next Sunday is a very important Sunday. Anyone guess? Potluck! Yes, that means bring a guest, bring a dish, bring an extra set of serving tools. Also, we have a special thing after our potluck. We have a concert series coming. Jamie Lula will be here. He'll be here for Unity service as well as ours. So if you want to get extra big dose of Jamie, come for both services. Enjoy the potlucks and then stay for the concert after. Information's in your bulletin, and I think they still have a desk set up out front where you can get your tickets. And I think there's a link online from our newsletter. And in the bookstore. Thank you. Yes. So we got lots of places for you to go. Find that information. Okay. So we're going to take a minute to settle into our morning, get ready for our worship. Let's take a deep breath in and hold and release. Remember, we are always in sacred space. Know that wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome here. At the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson, we believe everyone is a unique expression of the divine source. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, and that life is our life now. So if you'll take a moment, follow along. Let's see. Can we get the mission statement? And we'll follow along. We'll read that together. The Center for Spiritual Living Tucson is an inclusive, vibrant, spiritual community focusing on personal connection through our beliefs, principles, and practices of the science of mind. Welcome home, Flames of Faith.
I'd like to welcome Ariana, who's going to help us with the lighting of the flames of faith this morning. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. So we begin by lighting the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. And I really liked it when that light was not up. Next, we light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle for all who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives. We hold space for them and for all those religions unnamed in this ceremony. Lastly, as the healing candle is lit, I invite you to please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. So now we will have a 3-minute meditation. just following the tone of the bell. We recognize and know that there is only one life, one love, one peace, one divine creative intelligence that is expressing itself in infinite form and variety. It is expressing itself as all of life, all forms, all iterations. It is the known and it is the unknown. It is the all that is. And knowing that there is nothing separate from it, I know that I am one with that. I am one with this love. I am one with this peace. I am one with the wisdom and the harmony. And as I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for each one gathered here, each one who has said yes this morning to being this conscious, awake place where God shows up. And so we come together in community this morning knowing we are blessed. We come together knowing that we are God in form. There is no invitation, for we are here. And so the invitation today is just step into a deeper understanding of who we are as Spirit, as God in form. Grateful for this yes. Grateful for Reverend Rhoni. Grateful for the musicians. Grateful for our new board and our exiting board. Grateful for all our volunteers. And grateful for everyone who has a desire to seek the truth for themselves as we show up in the world, in this love, in this peace, in this harmony. And so it's from this gratitude that I release this word into the law of love and yes and more, and so it is. So it is.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough light and quite enough power to walk through every fear. For Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough love and quite enough power to open every heart. One Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room, this very room, in this very room. Repeat after me. In this very room, in this very room, in this very room, in this very
Beautiful. So my name is Sharon Whaley. I'm one of the practitioners here at CSL Tucson. And Tamara, are you staying for prayer after? All right. We will be up at the front of the room after service. If you are in need of prayer, support, just somebody else to say, good job. This some of my favorite prayers are, everything is going great. Let's affirm more of that. So we are here for you. We also have a prayer box outside, and we have prayer methods all online. You can email us. So we are here to support you. And so now I'm going to go ahead and move to the spiritual thought of the day, which is also printed in your program. Much of the time we forget our divine identity in the moment of a human experience. We become, yes, I can speak, really. We become mesmerized by material facts, feeling overcome by their seeming power. Unconsciously, in that moment, we are identifying with a circumstance rather than with the divine. We forget that the divine power within us is greater than the power in the world. And that's Linda Martella-Whitsette. And if you'll join me in the affirmation. I am. I am an awesome expression of God's infinite love, power, peace, and wisdom. All of those words. And so it is.
The laughter was a good transition for us, Sharon, because that last song was very grounding and peaceful. Thank you for singing that with me. But this is something completely different. You want to talk about this at all? Or?
Just that we were just talking about how quickly this came up on us. Felt like it was just hot last week, and all of a sudden it's cooler, and now happy Halloween, folks. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from its slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash.
he did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to catch a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
They did the mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun.
Betty Shoop, whoa.
The party had just begun.
Betty Boop, whoa.
Guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their local group, the Crypt Kick of Five.
They did the mash.
They played the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They played the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
The monster mash.
They played the monster mash. Now out from his coffin, Drag's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash.
The monster mash.
And it's a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band. And my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you.
They did the mash.
And you can monster mash.
The monster mash.
And do my graveyard smash.
Then you can mash.
You'll catch on in a flash.
Then you can mash.
You do the monster mash. Oh, Igor, you impetuous young fool. And we're gonna mash in about 3 days. Hope you got your costumes ready. Monster Mash. Happy Halloween.
Good morning. Love you all. Yes, it is that time. It is that time of year, and something that I'm going to discuss this morning, that we are going to talk about something that happens every October, preferably at the end of the month. Something ancient and a little unsettling. Something that's become mostly about fun-sized candy bars. Or if you're me, it's all about the Reese's Cups. Yes, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Number one, yes, it is. And they're mainly in my house. So and these wonderful bits of candy that we love to hoard and buy, and then we think we're going to give them out to the trick-or-treaters, and what happens is, and it becomes sort of not just about the candy, but about that polyester ill-fitting costume. And that we usually end up, if we're kids, it's like, okay, Mom, here, and by the time you're done, whatever civilian clothes you have underneath is probably what you're wearing, because it's too dang hot to wear the costume on your trek up the freeway or up the, well, yes, that too. You know that they I'm sure most of us are aware that there are kids that come in droves into our neighborhoods. Yes, they come off the freeways, they come off all these different patterns, and we get to give out even more candy. The more the better, as I say. So Halloween was never, I would say it was never a scary holiday for me. How can candy and costumes be scary? Really, I ask you. As I grew older, however, and began studying religions and ritual and all that wonderful stuff and symbolism as an adult, I learned there are humans that have put a whole new spin on it, complete with devil worship, paganistic rituals, anti-sacred dogma, and whatever else they can throw at it to make it a little less fun. And it is that beautiful time, I feel, of year, especially since it's the fall, when the year tips into shadows. The sun's power wanes, and all the things we keep neatly locked away in the attics of our minds all come rattling down from that attic, all of the creepy, crawly things for whatever this time of year. The church historically has been very good at building fences around this kind of darkness. Yes. We prefer the full solar experience of God. We do. The bright, the Easter morning, the mountaintop revelation, everything is beautiful and nothing hurts kind of truth. That's what we're looking for. And that can be a beautiful thing. We need the light. We need the reassurance that the dawn will break, the sun will come up. We need those guarantees. But I've come to believe that a faith tradition that only celebrates the full solar is a faith that only is half alive. And the reason why is because when we think about those old stories, the ones that maybe our grandparents told us, our ancestors, they knew something about the bones of their history, about making things a little bit maybe more special, but also the bones of about October 31st is when the veil between this world and the next, between the visible and the invisible, is at its thinnest. Yes, I believe that. There's a part of this big, beautiful, mystical world that we have to know that there is a thinness, that this is merely an illusion, that we simply know that there is another existence in this. We just can't see it. For whatever reason that is, we decide that our brains or our psyche just doesn't allow us to have that come in. We tend to, yes, we do. We tend to pathologize this idea. We worry, I can remember this as a kid, we worry about ghosts and ghouls and things that go bump in the night. And how about the monster under the bed? That was definitely going to, and we had to have that night light so that we knew that that monster, wherever it was, in the closet or under the bed, was not going to come out because, of course, we had light. But what if we understand this thinness not as a threat, but as an invitation? So all of a sudden, everything shifts and changes from the spooky goose and goblins that are in the closet or under the bed become maybe a little bit more friendlier. The invitation is to stop pretending we live in a perpetual springtime. The truth is, we live in a world of profound mystery, as I said. We know people who walked among us are now gone. But are they really? Maybe on some level their vibration is still here. We just can't see them. I will tell you all the story that many years ago, my best friend's mother died, and she had been fighting cancer, and it finally got her. And when we were celebrating her life, the one thing that my best friend, Jeannie, had told her mother as she was dying, she said, "Mom, you have to let me know that you're okay. You have to let me know when you get there," so to speak. And her mother, in her weakness, said, "I will." So we're all gathered in the family room, and we're having, we're just discussing things and having a good time and just reminiscing about life with Sylvia and now without. And there was sort of a lull in the conversation. And all of a sudden, we heard a bell. And my girlfriend and I are looking at each other. A bell? And we instantly bolted from the room and into her office, which was on the other side of the dining room, kitchen, and then her office. When we got into the room, there on the floor was a bell with an angel on the top. Yeah, I'm not making this stuff up. Sylvia loved to create, or she loved to collect bells, and that was her favorite bell. And all of a sudden, it ended up on the floor. Jeannie and I knew. Everyone else was, well, how did that happen? But we knew that she had told us that she was okay. These things happen. We're just sometimes too closed off from them, and we don't allow them to speak to us because it's supposedly not normal. I talk to my parents and my brother all the time. And I'm sure they're like, "Really? You want to do this again? Okay." But it's interesting because I always get an answer. It shows up in the most interesting ways. but I always get an answer. We know, and we know that within our own lives there are moments of dazzling clarity and long stretches of bewildering fog. There are days where sometimes I wish the fog would lift, just so that I can think clearly, know what's going to happen. But I don't always get that crystal ball. We have shadows in our history, wounds in our hearts, and fears that only emerge when the house is quiet and the lights go out. Charles doesn't know I did this, but when we first moved into our home, there was a night where I couldn't sleep, and I got up, made myself some tea, and sat in our living room among boxes and everything else that was there. But I sat there, and I allowed the house to talk to me. I heard the creaks and the wind and the things that were going on. And I sat there in the dark, in a new house, without a clue of what was going to happen or how everything was going to unfold. But I allowed myself to sit in the dark, to be in that peace, to allow the house to speak to me. And it was a wonderful bonding experience. And I wasn't afraid. Because I know on some level there is probably some spirits that are running around our house, and I invite them to do so. But I also invite you to take the opportunity at one point and allow yourself to find a special place, something that feels really good, and sit there and listen. Just listen to what's going on. If God is only present in the clear, sharp light of noon, where does that leave all our shadows? I ask you, what does that leave our grief? Where does that leave the sheer, unadulterated mess of being a human being? It's still there. It's all still there. This is where the wisdom of the Halloween night creeps in. It suggests that God is not afraid of the shadow. In fact, if God is all there is, then God must be present in the darkness as well. Not just a light shining in the darkness, but the very darkness itself holding us, lifting us, like the deep, rich soil that holds the seeds before the spring. Last week I talked about the costume we wear on a daily basis. This week, I would like us to think about the ritual of the costume. We put on a mask, maybe, to scare, to delight, or just escape ourselves for a few hours. Think about it for Halloween. We can be somebody we're not. We allow ourselves to become the creature, the hero, the monster, or the parody. Isn't that what we do all year long? We all wear costumes. We wear the costume of competent professional, put together parent, or I like this one, perfectly centered spiritual person. Are we? We spend so much energy keeping up the outward appearances, the mask of the person we think maybe we should be. We put so much energy into what we think we should show up as. Why? Why can't we just be who we want to be, who we feel like we want to express in the world? But there's so many times where we feel that we have to have approval from everything out here, and that's so wrong. The only approval you need is right here. Be who you want to be, in peace and in love. Halloween, I think, gives us permission to take the mask off. At least that's what I think. Or perhaps to put a new one on. Maybe something different. Or one that is so ridiculous or so transparent, not us, that it becomes a moment of confession. This is what I love, is when the night is going, and if you're in the home, you're the one giving out the candy, then you hear this little ding dong, and you open the door, and you see this werewolf, or Frankenstein, or a nurse, or some other character. And then all of a sudden they yell, "Trick or treat!" How many of you have asked for a trick before you give them the treat? Yes, what could they show you? It's kind of funny because they look at you like, wait a minute, that's not part of the script. You're just supposed to give me the candy. I'm not supposed to have to work for my food here. That kind of thing. And it's kind of fun, actually, when you do that with them. Children are so precious. They're so amazing. I can remember looking forward to, as an adult, the costumes and the creativity that some of these kids had. And as I've gotten older, and I look at holidays differently, I often wonder, when that child put on whatever costume it was it because they wanted to embody that? Or was it just in fun? I thought, that might be a good research project, to see this little girl that's a nurse. Is that what she wants to be when she grows up? My little brother, literally, probably out of the womb, he used to keep pants with rain boots and suspenders and a fire hat on his bed. And then the boots and everything was where he'd get up in the morning. And he did that his entire life. And what he was really doing, and he didn't realize, is he was giving himself a mental equivalent of what it would be to be a fireman. And he eventually got to do that. And it was funny because we all looked at him and went, "Don't you want to do something else?" "No, I like to be a fireman." And he lived and breathed to be a fireman, including when he was an adult. It was really kind of cool. So that's why I say, I want to look at these kids and say, is that what you want to do with our life? So let's look at the divine in all of this. I suspect that when we're standing there at the door, say, of our lives, waiting for us to show up in our true, messy, complicated costume, or no costume at all, how are we showing up at the door of our life? However, the divine says, show up as you want to, and saying, yes, beloved, I see your fear, your wilderness, your hidden longing, and the treat is always yours. Finding God in the Halloween night means recognizing that the divine is present in the chilling, honest vulnerability that comes from acknowledging the temporary, shadowy, and sometimes grotesque nature of the earthly existence we call human. It's the grace of God who meets us not just at the altar, but in the dark woods, on the lonely road, or in the reflection of a jack-o'-lantern flickering in the midnight, in the mid-evening moonlight. I remember carving pumpkins with my brothers. The worst part was getting out all that slime, the stickiness, all of that. But the best part was when Mom took the seeds and separated it, and then she roasted them. And then we ended up having those throughout the week, and then some in our lunches. It was a very special part. Didn't know that you could eat pumpkin seeds, but we did, and they were so good. As an adult, things shift and change. And as a spiritual student, I have found that special celebrations of the holy days, holidays is holy days, to take on a deeper meaning. As a child, I remember going from house to house, and of course the ones with the porch light, couldn't go to the ones that were dark, and wondering what kind of candy I would get. Over the years, I have found a different meaning to the night of hunting and gathering confection. Halloween is the night we actually leave the safety of our well-lit house and descend into the neighborhood darkness. We are willing to step out into the chill, the strange shadows, the path where a small, unexpected hand might reach out to us for guidance. The children of the holiday are actually performing a kind of liturgical ritual, an act of descent, going out to meet the unknown and trusting that the unknown will be generous. As adults, I ask us, why can't we do that every day? Why can't we seek the unknown and trust that everything is going to be okay? It will be. Even in the dark places, it always comes out okay. This is the very nature of an incarnational faith. It's not about waiting for God to ascend to us. It's about recognizing that God has already descended in us to meet us in the grit, the grime, and the goofy absurdity of the human world. If we cannot find God in the suburban night, navigating the porch lights and the spooky decorations, then how can we hope to know God in the deepest, most frightening caves of our own existence? God is not just the temple or other sacred places. God is out on the sidewalk. It's rattling the skeletons, and it's dispensing the small little mercies that we covet. So if you decide to go out this Halloween with kids or maybe just adult friends, I ask that you have the courage to look into the darkness, both outside and inside. And what I am knowing you will discover is that you already hold the light of love within you. You are embraced by the truth, and you are always basking in the full solar of the light of peace. Namaste. So keeping our attention inward, we remember that God is right where we are, surrounding us, filling us. God within is the ground of being for each and every one of us, right here and right now. We are emanations of the Most High God, and in this awesomeness of the oneness and with God, I further know that we are all connected within each other on the unseen side of life. So in the mind and in the heart that God is, there's only one of us, and we're all in. We are all in. So in this awareness of our oneness, I speak the word for each and every one of us today. And I know that we are committed to our spiritual path that God has revealed in each and every one of our lives. We bring into our consciousness our family members and our friends and parents and children and our furry and finny friends, all of those we love and hold near and dear. And as we see them in our mind's eye, we know that God is surrounding and filling them and us, that everyone's needs are met, that we are loved and peace-filled and whole in every way. Let this prayer be a blessing to the world that we live in, and we bless and know our center. We bless all sacred space everywhere, synagogues, temples, mosques, and ashrams, all paths to God. And I accept that we are blessed by being together today. Yes, we are. We are so blessed. And so with an open, gracious, full heart, I say thank you. Thank you, God. I release these words into the law of love, knowing them to be so. And so it is. Amen. I'd like to say thank you for all of you being here today, and thank you for supporting Center for Spiritual Living Tucson. It is our time right here, right now, to say thank you for all that has been provided for us, which is this beautiful sanctuary, the technical crew, these beautiful and wonderful musicians, and all that has come together today to create this beautiful space for all of us to be able to be with the God of our understanding. So it is in that gratitude that I merely invite you to text or look at our website and donate there. And there are other means, such as dropping some money in the basket. What we receive allows us to pay for what you all are experiencing. And I know that I would like this to continue. So thank you in advance for your donations and for supporting this beautiful space that we call our spiritual home. And so with that, I just ask us to say together a very simple prosperity prayer. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
Please stand up. Let's sing this last song together. I release and I let go. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for love. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm on here for love. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, yeah. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm on here for love. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yeah, yes, I'm on here for love. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for love.
I think we're here for a lot more, but I'd like you to say with me, I am. God is. And my life is filled with infinite possibilities. Yes, it is. I love you all and have a wonderful week. Mwah. Thank you.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand. Was walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for a place to leave Whole Foods. Gonna get a big chest of beef chow mein. Ah, ooh, werewolves of London. Ah, ooh. Ah, ooh, werewolves of London. Ah, ooh. You hear him howling down the rent.